DoorDash is super easy. I've been trying to figure out a way to make a little extra money, right? My friend was telling me about this DoorDash app and how she gives it a try. The sign-up process was super easy, and in no time, I was making a ton of money, guys. There's opportunities in over 4,000 cities. And now I can work whenever and wherever I'd like to. And all of that, you can 100% your tips. Download the app today and get started.
A metal card powered by crypto. How about these perks? Reserve yours now.
All right, let's see. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Stadia Bash Community Network Spotlight. Guys, I'm a little extra excited because today is pretty cool. I got a super cool guest for you guys. It's going to be an epic show. Guys, this is the show where I put a spotlight on Stadia Bash Community Network members. That's right. If you are a member, that means if you stream, you know what? I hear myself. Oh, let's turn that down. All right, cool. There we go. That means if you stream for the Stadia Bash Community Network, that means if you, well, pretty much if you do a show, if you brand cows and you have a tattoo on your arm of the Stadia Bash Community Network, then you can be on this show. All right, guys. All right. So, guys, this has been pretty cool. All the different people I've had on so far. Let me actually pull out the list. So I've had Collins, the Emperor himself, was my first guest. Then Jeff the Great was on. Then I had Mr. John Scar. The Legend 21 Ariel was a guest. Eli Levy, Papa Levi, was also a guest as well. So today, guys, I got to keep it going. What's going on, Alex? I got to keep it going, and I got to keep coming up with these, these punchlines, man, and these, and guys, I love doing this because I love Stadia. I'm such a fan, and I love you guys who are still loving Stadia despite everything that's going on. So with that said, all right, let me take a look. So with that said, I'm going to bring on none other than the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that was one of the first people that I watched when I first started getting into Stadia content creators, the man who gets all the women, the man who have all the guys that want to be just like him, none other than myself. That's right, guys. Today, I am going to talk about me. Anthony, you, sir, are the most awesome person on the Stadia Bash community. All right, guys. With that said, it's Clive. Woo!
Is he talking about me? Is he talking about me?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yokoso, konnichiwa. How are you? Tweet. There we are. Tweeted it. I'm tweeted out. I'm on the show now. Nice. I can reveal. Hello.
Yeah, that's a reveal. So let me change and put your name on here. Guys, this is
who am I? Who do you want to talk to?
Let me if I could just talk to Laura Kenzel for a little bit, please.
Okay.
Guys, don't worry. Clive is going to get Laura Kenzel on the show. This is awesome. I've been wanting to meet Laura Kenzel for so long. What's going on, man?
Yay!
Lord Kenzel, I hear that you're kind of a Stadia hater, man. Tell me about that. What does Stadia do that bothers you so much?
You know me, I love Stadia. You know, but I see where you're going there. I love Stadia, but I just like to wind up Clive, you know,
Okay, gotcha.
by just being an idiot. So I sort of say things an idiot might say about Stadia.
So you mean people
just people that might say things that might make them look like idiots,
like
so
Young or
could
Green Pass Guy?
could be them.
Could be.
Yeah, could be other people. But yeah, so that is, I just like winding up Clive because he loves Stadia and he's so bloody right all the time.
Yeah.
And bang on. So I just like to wind him up a bit by behaving like an idiot and saying idiotic things.
Well, I just seen you started streaming the other day, man. Yeah.
Well, you see, Lord Kenzel has always been a streamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to stream Sea of Thieves on. I'm just taking my phone there. 1 second. There we are. Don't want to hear myself. Yeah, I used to stream Sea of Thieves on the Xbox. I bought. Well, no, I didn't. Sea of Thieves was was the first sort of Xbox Games Pass day and date release game, because obviously it's an internal game to Rare is their studio, but it was the big title to launch Games Pass, and I jumped on Sea of Thieves then, became a legend. If you know anything about Sea of Thieves, I became a pirate legend within the first year.
Wow.
Grinded, mostly solo, which is the difficult way to do it. It's just because I didn't have any friends. But it's interesting. I imagine it anyway, because that's where I used to stream a bit of that on Mixer, because the beauty of at the time,
right?
Remember Mixer? Imagine that killing off a major part of your business strategy. I think it's over for Xbox.
I got a feeling Xbox days is numbered.
Yeah, it's named, but they closed down a major part of what they do.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mixer was baked into the Xbox app, and it was just so easy to stream. And I didn't have a gaming PC or a PC capable of streaming, and I've always wanted to be a streamer. So Xbox with Mixer built in, and then I came across an app called, what was it called now? Lightstream.
Okay.
A little tip out there, which was it's like a sort of a web-based OBS type thing. So you didn't need a powerful computer because it did it in the cloud, but it allowed you to use overlays and stuff. So you could feed and then they did this link up with Mixer. So you could feed your Mixer feed straight into that and then have overlays. And it was like really cool. You could stream. And it's interesting because the Sea of Thieves community reminded a little bit of the Stadia community early on. It was a really good sort of group of people who streamed and popped into each other's streams and said hi. Does that sound familiar? Do you know what I mean? Like you chatted, supported each other, came on each other's sort of stream, did things together and streamed it live, did some charity events together and stuff like that. So, so that's where I sort of started streaming, but I'd never really had the kit, which is one of the things that appealed to me about Stadia, as it's true of many people, that the promise of being able to stream without the need, direct to YouTube, without the need of any kind of expensive kit. As things turned out, the big irony with Stadia is it's forced me to spend loads of money on a PC and stuff, because it's that, and plus my YouTube stuff, but partly because of the Stadia content that Clive Illander does. It gave me the opportunity to think, I'm going in for this now. What with my tech reviews on the tech reviews on Clive Illander's YouTube channel and the Stadia regular show, I got more and more into content creation. So it's sort of I thought, well, I need a computer now to be able to run OBS properly and all that kind of stuff. So that's the weird irony about Stadia. You know, you don't need any expensive equipment or anything like that. The irony is, Stadia is the reason I've gone and spent all this money on expensive equipment. Like,
I said,
equally, it's allowed me, oddly enough, that and other stuff has allowed me enough to spend money on equipment to allow me to, you know, do all this and stuff like that. So it's quite cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, same thing for me. I ended up buying I'm not a PC guy at all by any stretch of the imagination. However, I bought a $1,300 gaming laptop so I could be able to stream on OBS.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Man. So what do I got to do to get Clive back? Not that I don't enjoy you being on here, but
you want the brains of the operation.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm sort of a fan of his, and you know how it is.
Yeah, just okay. Look, okay, I'll get him on one condition, right?
Okay, all right.
If you're not subscribed to Lord Kensal of Stadia, make sure you are subscribed. Okay, Lord Kensal of Stadia, YouTube. Lord Kensal of Stadia. Go and get subscribed to that every Tuesday night, or sort of afternoon-ish, lunchtime. Yeah, lunchtime in America. But every Tuesday, anyway, I stream on the wonderful, wonderful Stadia Bash Community Network. So if you go and do that, I'll go and get Clive. 1 second.
All right, guys, I need everybody right now to subscribe to Lord Kensal. So this is what we're gonna do. I guess I botched this because you would think I would have his channel. So hold on. Guys, he is looking to get into game streaming and break into the market. All right, here we go.
He wants me on now? You want me to go? Okay.
Oh man, thanks for coming back, Clive. That guy, Lord Kensal.
He's all right. He's all right, but he winds me up, acting like an idiot all the time.
Yeah, he did say he likes to wind you up.
He does. He winds me up.
So let me ask you this, Clive. First of all, man, I want to publicly let everyone know, and some people heard me say this. You, sir, are my personal favorite choice when it comes to Stadia content creators. One, you're intelligent. Two, you're very entertaining. And three, your production value is amazing. So I admire you, and
thank you. That's really nice. That's
and
nice.
Also, I can't wait till my son to see this because he said, you know, the little stuff he's doing.
Anthony's here, baby. Yeah, he's made it. He's an official. Yeah, he's an official YouTuber. Yeah, fact. Yeah, fact. You could say that. What do you do? I'm a YouTuber. Yeah,
I'm a YouTuber.
Yeah.
My son said, I mean, it's cool, but if you don't get Clive on your show, then, you know, if you don't get him on a stream with you, so now I could actually tell him to eat it because I'm, oh man, this is crazy. Anyway, all right, guys, you guys aren't here. They're not here to see me blush and everything. They're here for you. Now, the reason why I had you on, Clive, is because yes, you just recently joined up with the state, or you was nice enough to ask Lord Kensal to join up with the Stadia Bash Community Network. But what's cool, man, is you said something the other day that was really cool, right? It was on somebody's stream, or maybe it was on my stream, but you wrote it. You said, listen, I don't feel I have enough knowledge to try to do content for these other platforms. So you said, you know, Stadia is what you like, is what you feel comfortable with, and that's why you do Stadia. And I think that's important because when I watch your shows, I feel passion for something you like. You know, I can feel it, you know, and also the production value, man. Listen, my favorite episode, you got the girls dancing in the background, with, you know, but passion is what anybody could feel from you. So I think this whole, you know, people are rebranding and stuff, but the question is kind of like you said, like, how much passion are you going to have for stuff that you're not really into? That's
the thing, right? I do. So, you know, I do a weekly show. You know, I've got a life, believe it or not. You know, I've got kids. I got work, I got all that. And, you know, and I want to make other stuff for the channel like yourself. You know, it's not just Stadia content. And I got to sort of keep that going. It becomes a sort of, unfortunately, it becomes a sort of vicious circle in a way. If you know, you mustn't sort of become beholden to it. But part of you wants to keep making stuff and make, oh God, I haven't done a video. And you've got to balance that carefully because it will do your head in. But having a weekly show allows me to sort of, well, I talked to, you know, like a lot of people who set up Stadia in the beginning, set Stadia channels in the beginning, is I think it was because, you know, that like me, they got the tech and it was like, wow, this thing actually works. This is cool. And then you started reading stuff in the press or YouTubers, whatever, saying Stadia's rubbish, it doesn't work, what, it's never going to work, it doesn't work. And you're going, that is patently not what I am observing every single day. And it was frustrating because it's like arguing with flat earthers. It's like, no, the earth's flat. And you go, no, it's not flat. I can give you the science. I can show you. No, it's flat. So it's pointless, you know, and it's frustrating. So that, you know, and I was so like, this is unbelievable. I so enjoyed the technology. I couldn't understand why nobody else would embrace it and enjoy it. And I think this is the raison d'etre for many people starting channels originally. It was like, you're wrong. This is good stuff. Yeah. The potential here is incredible. So that's why I started doing this. You know, I'd seen other people as well. It wasn't, you know, no original idea. You know, I saw Sunny Cloud Gaming. And, you know, in fact, I saw Chase doing his, I thought, he's just sitting there chatting and people are loving it. I can do that and I'm good at it. So no disrespect to Chase, but you know what I mean? Like, he inspired me to a certain degree to show how, hey, why not talk about something? It's easy, you know. Well, it's not easy, but it sort of feels like it's easy, you know. So then I just started, I'll do it. And then the show itself evolved. And I thought, I need to be different, right? You know, I saw a lot of shows. I nearly did. Sometimes I want to do sketches, which really, really takes the piss out of Stadia podcasts, right? Because the format, and I'll do it here, right? So please don't be offended, Stadia podcast people. I do it a little bit by myself, but I purposely try to make the show a little bit different. So what you'll have is you'll have 4, 3, 5 people, and then they'll go to the Stadia. I write a script, right? And then I see, and I'll get, I don't know, I'll get an audience of 30 odd people, right? Okay. Woo! Right. And then I'll watch somebody, and this is what they'll do. And they go, okay, let's see what's happening in the Stadia world. And they go to the Stadia news site and they go, okay, what's happening in the Stadia news is this. Something happened. Hey, Bob, what did you think about that? Yeah, I read that. Yeah, something happened. Fred, what did you think about that? Yeah, I read that. Yeah, something happened as well. That's great. Hey, Tiffany, did you see something there? Yeah, I read that. I agree with him and Bob and Fred. Okay, right. What's the next story? And it's like, you're just reading the news. You're just like literally reading a website. That's right. And then asking you, yeah, I read that as well. Brilliant. All 6 of you read it. Well done. So that's what it's like. And I just think, no, okay. How can I differentiate? And plus, you know, sometimes it annoys me. And then people don't go into, like, don't question the story. Don't go into it. Don't explain it a bit more. Don't, you know, give some depth. If I don't understand, if I don't know a game, I'll go and research it. So that on the show, I'll go, this game is about such and such. It's a such and such. Whereas some people go, I don't know. Have you ever heard that game? No, I haven't heard of that game. Okay, I think that game's by French developers. No, they're not by French. Are they by Swedish developers? I don't know. They could be Finnish. I don't, like, why didn't you look it up? Anyway. Yep.
Well, no, I agree with you.
But I would never say that on my Stadia Monday night show because it would be disrespectful. But anyway, so so I worked on the show to think, what are my strengths? What can I do differently? And I used to make a joke. I try to be informative. I try to educate. I try to entertain. And so if you want to know anything about the BBC, when the BBC started in the 1920s, its remit was to inform, educate, and entertain, right? That was its remit. It's sort of modus operandi when it first started. So I just, and because I'd mentioned it a few times, I thought, yeah, actually, that is going to be my modus operandi. That is the core of my show. It will be to inform, educate and entertain, because I thought what I can do is I can bring some fun to it and entertainment and do some sketches. They are hard work. So sometimes I do the easy ones where Lord Kenton and I have and that's still hard. Because I've got to write it, got to film it twice, all that kind of stuff. Because he's not because there's any effects in it, it's because he's rubbish. And we have to do it twice. But you know, and I see, sorry, I see Brian.
Hold on real quick, Clive.
Go on.
Hold on real quick. Come here real quick. Clive, could you say something to my son real quick? He's made it. Yeah, look, you see, I'm here, man. You know, it's official. It's official. He's made it. It's official. Mark, here's the mark. Yeah, official. That's it. Approved. Man. This is approved. Awesome, man. Good to see you, man.
I'm glad to see y'all doing y'all thing.
Yes, sir. All right. Sorry. But, go ahead. You're saying Brian.
Yeah. So
my arch nemesis. Did you know Brian and I once upon a time had some beef?
No, I did not know that. We all have a bit of drama.
Little bit of drama. But yeah, it's another story.
All right. So and so then I saw Brian, and Brian's shows are really good.
Yes.
Like they're really polished. I love his work. I love his shows. Then he was like doing some costume stuff and drama. I thought, okay, this is okay. We want entertainment, do we? Yeah. So he sort of spurred me on without, you know, indirectly. He didn't spur me on, but indirectly watching some of his stuff, thinking, okay, I need to up my game a bit and just bring some production values to it and do some stuff. But it's a balance because equally, although I was, you know, disparaging the people who just, you know, read the news and whatever, it has a purpose. It works. Yeah. And they get the same audience as I do. So, and yet I spend all day, you know, filming. When I do those sitcom things, geez, that's why I haven't done very many, because I've got no one here to help me. I tried to get my son to help me, who's 11. I ended up shouting at him like a director, gone like, no, wrong, film it again. And, you know, I'm just hopeless. So I just thought it's better without him. Do it all myself. It's so hard.
I 100% understand. So my channel was mainly vlogging for my channel was 10 years old, right? And so, but then I do movie review, I do everything, right? Everything channel. But yeah, man, people don't understand creating content where you're cutting and chopping and putting together is like my wife's birthday was March 15th, and I haven't put out her birthday video yet. Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of editing. I didn't put out our Valentine's Day video yet. Like, it's just sometimes you sit there and say like, oh man, such a process. So when I watch your shows and I watch Lord Kenzo come in the background, I showed my wife one day. I said, watch this. I said, I need to be doing stuff like that. I said, but that's a lot of work.
Well, I'll tell you, so I'll tell you another inspiration. And it's a YouTuber I watch, not a Stadia. People might know him because he's quite a big YouTuber, but he does the movie pitches. So and he does it where he's talking to him. He plays both characters, and he goes, "I've got an idea for a movie," and then he'll absolutely rip apart a movie. So he goes, "Yeah, it's called Jurassic Park," and then they'll just take he'll have this conversation. He's the script writer, and he's talking to the film producer, and he's playing both roles. And they're basically the point of the sketch is to just rip all the plot holes apart, and then sort of say no, and stuff like that. And it's just really funny. And so that's sort of that. He does it in a different way than I do it, because I'm in shot. His is a 2-shot thing, so it's to the producer to him, to the producer to him, and he plays both parts. But that's sort of, I love that conversation approach, and the ability of a conversation is you can sort of really expose things because you can ask the silly questions, and so Lord Kenzo can play up and behave like an idiot, and then I can. In my frustration is really at the idiots on Twitter or wherever who are, but I aim it at Lord Kenzo, who is behaving or echoing things I consider idiotic. And I can't be bothered to go into intellectual detail on why they are wrong or why I think they are incorrect. Yes, everyone has the right to an opinion. That doesn't stop their opinion from being utterly wrong. So, you know, that's my kind of point. But plus it allows me to be a little bit cheeky where I wouldn't. So it's sort of, you know, it's all tongue in cheek. Part of it, I mean, and part of it I don't. It's that balance, you know, like I sort of, I deep down, like, you know, like my whole skit about the podcast shows, look, that's cool. I think it's, you know, fine. But part of me also thinks that's all you're really doing. But the other part going, well, that's actually fine, really. But part of me wants to take the mickey out of it a little bit. And then the other part is, hey, look, we all got to find, you know, whatever floats your boat, you know.
What, Clive, let me ask you this. What makes you like Stadia so much? Like, why are you a big Stadia supporter?
Okay, so as you know, like before Stadia, I did a few tech reviews on my channel. And one of the tech reviews, in fact, one of the ones that really got, was the first one to get any traction for me. Because I've been doing, like yourself, I've been doing this for 5 years. And for 4 to 3, maybe 3 to 4 of those years, you know, just toddling along, the odd subscriber here and there, not really having any traction or breakthrough. And then I did a review of Project xCloud. I don't think you were meant to do one at the time. It was in sort of beta. But, you know, but I just took the chance and I did it. And I was the first one to do it on YouTube that I could find, to be honest, because I don't think you were meant to do it. But, you know, I didn't get anything come back from it or anything like that. But then I remember, you know, you wake up and you check your YouTube things and, you know, overnight I might get like, you know, on a video, I'm like, oh, look, I've had 10 views. Woohoo. But then after a few days, it was like, oh, you've had 50 views. Oh, you've had 70 views. Oh, you've had 100. I'm thinking, bloody hell. I was showing, you know, my kids, go, look at that. It's going up. Right. And so that really got traction. And so I tried Project xCloud and, you know, I saw where it was going. It was okay. There was definitely, and I'm talking about, in fairness, I'm talking about the beta here and stuff like that. But there was certainly a lag and latency. So it had that thing that just sensed it's not quite there. You know, it's off, but you can see the potential of cloud gaming. And then at the same time, obviously, there's talk about Google working on theirs and stuff like that. And my experience with Google products has generally been extremely positive. So I thought, and I've said this so many times on so many podcasts, if anyone can pull this off, if anyone can, Google can. So I was in. I thought, and when they said we're going to do this Founders Edition, I thought I want to be in on the ground floor. No question. Yeah. It's a founder. Yeah. Like the founding fathers of America. Yeah. We're pilgrims. Yeah. We're not walking in. I've said this before. We were never walking into a ready built city. Yeah. Right. We were there as founders of something that was going to grow into something bigger. And that's how I went into it. My eyes were open. I listened to what was said. I also understood who they were saying it to and interpreted it accordingly. So come November the 19th, 2019, when my Stadia came, I was not disappointed because I'd listened in detail to what people had said and to who they said it and what they were trying to say. Anyway, ran over. I got it out. Now, obviously, by this time, I've invested a certain amount of my faith in it working and Google getting it right. I fired up, like many people in the community, fired up Destiny, and it was better than my Xbox One experience, which was the experience most people had at that time. You might have had a PSR, Xbox One X, or a PS4 Pro, whatever. Yeah. But my gaming life had been on Xbox One, and I enjoy it. I still like my Xbox. You know, I don't play it as much because everything I ever play is really on Stadia, but I haven't touched Xbox in a long time. Anyway, fired up Destiny 2, boom. It looked amazing. It played amazing. There was none of that kind of slight stickiness that I had in when I tried Project xCloud. It was on my 4K TV.
And Destiny. So I played Destiny for 5.5 years straight, from part 1 to part 2. When I played on Stadia, it even loaded faster. So when you went from a different planet, man, it was like, whoa, that was fast, noticeably faster.
Yeah. And so I just thought, And at that point, I thought, they've done it. They've done it. There is no denying the tech works. End of, right? There is not a discussion to be had. I'm sorry. If you want to bring that discussion, you're knocking at a locked door. It works, right? And it's only going to improve and get better over time. That's, but the point is right here, right now, it worked. It worked November 2019 and it works now, well, and so I was, I was really kind of into it and obviously wanted to support it. And there is an element of that you do become emotionally attached because you've invested a certain amount of faith into these things. And there is that element which will drive your opinions and views and arguments. And you have to be careful that you recognize that.
That's right.
In what you're saying and try to balance it. It's hard. It's like what they call, look, at work we do, we do what we call unconscious bias training. Yeah. And it basically teaches you that however hard you might try about not having a conscious bias, the way that your cultural upbringing, the way you brought up, society, everything has sort of programmed you to have this unconscious bias in life. But the trick is, if you recognize it, then hopefully you don't manifest it, and it doesn't manifest itself in your day-to-day things. So that applies to everything. But Stadia is an example. And so once I'm passionate about it, I will talk at length, which is and you can tell now because you started me off.
I love it.
But this is why, could I do one about GeForce Now? I'd be forcing myself to do it. I could contact GeForce Now and say, give me some goodies, please, because apparently it's dead easy to get some stuff off you. And it might help my channel. Hey, who's to say I won't do that? But I wouldn't give up doing a Stadia Monday night chat. Do you know what I would do? And I've been meaning to say this for about a week and a half.
Let's go.
I think, if I was going to do a show on GeForce Now, it would be called the GeForce Tuesday Night Chat. Yeah. So I'd have the Stadia Monday night chat and then the GeForce Tuesday night chat.
Right.
I wouldn't stop having a show dedicated to Stadia because I'm passionate about Stadia.
I agree.
I might have a show about GeForce Now, the GeForce Tuesday night chat. That comes off the tongue, doesn't it? And then on Wednesday we'll have the Xbox Wednesday night chat, the xCloud Wednesday night chat.
Right.
And Thursday will be the Shadow Thursday night chat. Yeah. I could do that. I'd be dead, knackered. I wouldn't really have the heart to do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday's shows, but I definitely have the heart to do Monday's show. Definitely. So personally, that's what I would do. And so whilst I get, some people want to diversify, and that's cool. If we talk about Stadia Source, I think what they're doing is brilliant. I think it's a fantastic idea. The whatever source network it is, game source network, what a brilliant, like an IGN type thing. But I do question, and Avery, I was going to ask you directly. I have an idea for a show. Why don't you do a show, right, which is dedicated to just to Stadia? Because you're looking for ideas for shows where there's maybe sort of 5 or 6 of you, and you go through all the news items for Stadia and just ask each other on the panel about it, and occasionally have a guest. Maybe you call it the Stadia Source Show. I don't know.
Well,
why not? Why? I get the expansion of the network, and I think that's really cool. But why not still have a little dedicated Stadia show?
Right.
That's all.
Well, I don't know if you seen my little video, Clive, but I told people as long as Anthony is on whatever it's called now, it's going to have dedicated Stadia content, all right? Because that's what I'm about. So when you see my streams, I did pitch to Avery, hey, let me do a little show, but we're not going to even get into that because you guys know me. I'm the guy that I like to name drop. We're not going to get into me pitching my show to you, Avery. But listen, I'm Stadia, man, and I tried GeForce Now once just to play the Crucible beta. Stadia is my thing, right? So
yeah, I played GeForce, yeah.
I agree. Have a dedicated, and I'm pretty sure he will, or they are going to have some dedicated Stadia stuff. But anyway, let me ask you this, Clive, because I want to get from you. Why does the closing of the studios not affect you? Why does that not bother you?
Well, so look, if we're going to get into detail, of course it bothered me.
Mm-hmm.
My first reaction, it bothered me. Wow. It bothered me on a number of levels. It bothered me because I knew exactly what the reaction would be in the community, which is always the reaction. It's like, and I don't deal with that kind of crap very well. Yeah. I'm like, calm down. It's like in the the sort of films where people get hysterical. You just want to slap them, get the slap lady out. Now calm down, breathe, right?
Yeah.
So my first reaction is, wow, that's a big thing they're doing, right? That's going to have impact. Okay, I'm not sure how I feel about this, so I'm going to read carefully what's been said. Try to analyze what the thinking behind it is. These aren't just random acts,
right?
And I've been in those situations. I've been in the situations where I've been in the senior management team having these conversations about colleagues that they don't know that's going on. And the axe is hanging over them.
Yep.
I've been on that side. I've also been on the other outside that same office thinking, I've heard some rumor. I wonder what, are they talking about us? Our job's safe. And then you hear about it and you go, oh my God, am I going to miss the axe? I've missed the axe several times. I've also been hit by the axe.
Yeah.
Companies go through change management, as it's politely put. And so I kind of then thought, okay, let's just read what they said. And I did. And I just thought, I've been there. I've seen it. I think they're just reconfiguring what Stadia is or how they're going to roll Stadia out. And it may, you can understand how things may have impacted game making. All that kind of stuff is difficult. Amazon are the prime example. And you go, but Amazon is showing faith in there. I don't know. There's blind faith. There's stupid faith, or there's people who are wise with their money and take the long but steady road, And I'd rather my house be built brick by brick carefully than just throwing loads of brick and some cement and some bits of steel and everything. And eventually we'll build something. Yeah. What you build is like, is that a good way of doing? If you could afford it, maybe, but yeah. So I just think I just took a step back. Like I said, you become emotionally attached. I took a step back. I analyzed it only based on my understanding of business, my understanding of working in the games industry, my understanding of being in senior management teams making difficult positions, my understanding of being on the other side of being made redundant in those situations because of major corporation. And I'm talking about corporations who you would think have bottomless pits of money, which is the problem. They don't. And sometimes that bites them on the butt. And so I looked at it and I just thought, I think it's a pivot. It's a terrible shame. I think, but I don't think it's the end. I just think it's a pivot. And so then the next thing I asked myself is, okay, so if I understand right what I think they're doing based on basically my understanding of English and being able to read and not read too much into it, just read what is said.
Educated guess.
Not even educated guess. Literally read what it says.
Gotcha.
People come up with lots of interpretations. Yes, they could double down and spell it out to the idiots, right? But again, and that would be helpful. But again, it's a sort of like a shareholder's statement, like to the stock market statement. And, it's based, and you've got to be on it. You have to be honest in those sort of statements. Right. It's not an official shareholder statement, but it is like one. And so I would argue that the same principles would apply. You have to be honest, right? You can't bullshit in a stockholders type statement, or you will be in trouble on a number of levels. So they basically said, we decided to pivot away from that. and we're changing the business, format. What you are reading into it is because probably people have said the impact Cyberpunk, has had. Clearly, the sales probably hadn't met expectations in that first year. Blame it on COVID, blame it on a bad launch, blame it on all these things. But what do? Blindly keep going, throwing bad money after old, or go, wait, hold up, mate. We need to make some difficult decisions, turn the ship, point it in a slightly different direction. We will get to our destination. We just need to take a slightly different path. And that's how I read it. And I just thought, yeah, I'm happy with that. Now, if I'm right, they will do certain things over a period of time. And if I see them ticking those boxes, then I know that we are roughly going in the direction I think we are going. Right. And so far, we are.
Right.
Which brings me to another point, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
There are some people in the community who keep putting up litmus tests. Well, if Stadia don't do such and such,
correct,
then they're dead in 6 months. If they don't do such and such, they're dead in 6 months. And Stadia passes those litmus tests, especially in the last few weeks. Past. If we don't see, somebody specifically said the fact that Little Nightmares 2 has not been stated as coming to Stadia and is a sequel to a game that was on Stadia is an indication that Stadia it's not good look for Stadia. It's not looking good. And what happened? Little Nightmares 2 not only came to Stadia day and date, it came to Stadia as a pro game day and date. Litmus test passed. Well, we'll have to see Resident Evil. Resident Evil 7 is a pro game. Resident Evil 8 is coming day and date. Well, Outriders needs to come. Outriders came day and date. Hitman, first title of the year, big AAA title, day and date. Litmus test passed. Litmus test passed. Litmus test passed. So what these people do? Move the Ashes axe. Exactly. Is what I'm going to say, Ashes to Ashes. They just put up another litmus test.
Right.
Not that down. They put up another litmus test.
Because
how many litmus tests? Yeah, we should have benchmarks. We should tick off. We should be concerned. But accept the ones that have been passed. That's all I would say. And go, okay, that's fair enough. Well done. Next challenge. That's fair.
Yeah, because they did say that they still plan to bring games to you to Stadia, and everyone says, well, I need them to say something. What more do they need to say? I don't get it. Listen, here's the thing, right? Man, I'm very passionate about this. I see people in the community, oh, GeForce Now is doing this. Stadia needs to do this. Listen, man, you woke up one day and said, I want to make content because I like Stadia. Stadia didn't Google didn't bring your phone one day and say, hey, here's a contract. If you make content, we'll do such and such. You took it upon yourself. So therefore, what people bothering is like, well, they didn't give me this, they didn't give me that. There was no contract, no promise, no nothing. You take it upon yourself and make content. Now, if you get noticed and they want to give you a handbag or a water bottle, like I don't know, man. Listen, this is what Stadia does for me. They're bringing games, the tech works, and that's all I need. I'm a gamer, so I want to play your stuff. And if you keep bringing it so I can play it, I will spend money. I don't need you to do nothing else. You don't have to call me. You don't have to text me. You don't have to make me a little emoji. You don't have to give me a water bottle. Nothing. So it's
so exactly, like I've joked that, so there was a couple of months ago where every Stadia content creator, whatever, the main one, everybody got another little sweet package from Stadia. Yeah. Now I'm in the top 10 most subscribed. Okay. I don't have a Stadia dedicated channel. Okay. I have a show on my channel, but I'm in the top. If you look at Jack DeSlip's things, I'm in the top 10 subscribed channels with a specific Stadia show. Yeah. I am the #1 watched UK Stadia show. Okay, on average, my the viewings my show gets out of the UK shows, specific Stadia, very narrow niche. I've made a joke about this before. It's a very narrow niche, but the point is, right? And if people seem to like me to have on my shows or watch my stuff or whatever, and seem to sort of respect me, whatever, and consider me one of the sort of the sort of Stadia people, the
elite.
The elite, whatever you call it, not me to say, right? So that's the impression I have, and yet nada. I didn't get.
Hey, maybe you might have to check the door. If you check the door right now, it might be there.
Ah, man, I checked the door. You saw on my show, man. I checked the door.
That's not it.
No, nada. Now I have a theory about it.
Okay.
And Avery, I'm looking at you. But yeah, but I don't. I make jokes about it. I'm only the only thing that bothers me about it is I'm curious why I didn't get anything.
Right.
And like it's like an unsolved mystery, although I have a theory. But it didn't, but other than that, the fact that it's an unsolved mystery didn't make sense why I didn't get anything. I'm not bothered about it other than that, the mystery. But yeah, I do it because, and to do, as to make content regularly,
yeah,
it's hard. Well, we've seen people who, like COVID's been difficult, and for a lot of people, we've seen people sort of suffering through this, having difficult times and stuff like that. And even myself, went through for various external reasons, like had a few weeks here where I sort of like, oh, I'm not sure, I sort of fluttered. But you have to like something enough that like work, that you think I'm not feeling it today, but I still got to do it.
Yep. So
you've got to be passionate about it for me, because if you're going to do a regular thing, then, you've got, as I say, you've got to kind of feel it most of the time. And so, we do it because we really, we really want to do it. And I enjoy it. I tell you, another thing is the adrenaline. I've tried trying to do a pre-recorded show and stuff like that, but it's much better live. In fact, it's probably easy. I thought it'd be easier to do a pre-recorded show, but it took longer. And actually, then I rediscovered my love of the live version of it, and then adding in content that I'd created, and that's sort of the mix that I've kind of got to now. But the adrenaline afterwards keeps me awake. So I never get any sleep on the Monday night, because I'm pumped. Because it's like because I'm performing. It's a performance, and so I'm like, whoa, afterwards,
Let me say this, Clive. What I think is cool is I was trying to relay this to Ace. I was up late last night watching his programming, and he was saying that do a lot of content, do everything, right? And I said, but listen, would you want a PlayStation guy to sit through a primarily Xbox show just to get to his PlayStation content, right? I said you wouldn't recommend that for that person, but you would recommend that Stadia just do a bunch of cloud stuff, right? So, like for instance, with the Stadia Bash Community Network, we host a one-stop, one-shop place where you could watch shows, you could watch people streaming, whatever, right? But the trick is, it gives back to the person. Like now, if somebody's watching, right, they're watching me on my 1 hour slot. If they watch you yesterday on your 1 hour slot, it goes to you. So we found a loophole just to give back to the people as well.
There's something pure. There's something a bit pure and simple about the Stadia Bash Community Network, which I really like. And I saw it. I mean, I know you asked me a long time ago, about getting Clive on the show and stuff like that. And I thought, I'm done and thinking about it. But then after a few weeks of watching it and seeing what you were doing and seeing what was happening, I just thought, you know what? There's something about this that reminds me of the early days of the Stadia content community. We were all like pally and friendly and lovely and sweet. and there's something something fresh and naive and bright and exciting about all making shows and being on each other's, you know. I had Chase on my show, I had Brian on my show, and, you know, I was on Chase's show, and, you know, Rock and I have done so much together and things like that. And it's just, there was something really kind of nice about a bunch of people being passionate about Stadia. And some of that edge or freshness or naivety sort of lost a bit, really, as people sort of, you know, thought, oh, Stadia, after a year, like, it's a bit like relationships, you know, it's all a honeymoon at the beginning, but then after a year, unless you evolve with it, you sort of find you drift apart sometimes or something like that. And that's how relationships kind of come to an end. And I've sort of seen that with, you know, in the Stadia community, where some people thought, you know, actually, you know what, it's not me, it's you, this is not for me. And, you know, and they part ways with Stadia a bit or whatever. Some have a violent parting, as though they've had a row, and you think, all right, easy. They think the lady doth protest too much. And others are like, no, you know what I mean, I want to explore other avenues, man. You know, I want an open relationship. And, you know, that honeymoon period's sort of over a bit for some people, and that's fine. I just think, you know, people get bored and move on, and that's fine. And they want to stretch out and explore, and that's cool. But what I saw with the Stadia Bash Community Network is, you know, people who just want to play Stadia and talk about Stadia, love Stadia, and that's it. And I just thought, you know what, actually, we can get, and I came to this realization on my own show on the Stadia Monday Night Chat a few weeks ago, and I think I mentioned it there, where I just thought, you know what, this should just be a space. We shouldn't get too bogged down by what other people. I think Bill said it today. You shouldn't get bogged down by what other people think too much. We're all guilty of it. I do it. So I just thought about my show going forward would be more about just talk about Stadia. Like you've always talked. Why get into sort of dramas, Twitter dramas? So I try to stay away from that. I might make a joke about it. That's my way of dealing with it. But I won't get involved in Twitter or jump on people on Twitter too much and stuff like that, because it's like it's not worth it. I just want to talk about Stadia. That's what the original concept of the Stadia Monday Night Chat was. And so I see that with the SBCN. It's just like, you know, it's just people who just want to enjoy playing. Don't stop me from enjoying Stadia. You know, like I see that in the Stadia Bash Community Network. People who go, I'm not hurting anyone. You know what I mean? I'm just playing a game in a way that I like, and I want to share that passion with people. And I just think that's what you see in the Stadia Bash Community Network. You see people who, you know, thought, oh, and have seen other people start streaming and stuff like that. And everybody's got to start somewhere. And Stadia gives you an opportunity to do that, because you don't need a super powerful computer to get going and stuff like that. You can play AAA games. You can stream the AAA games. You can just dip your toe into the world of streaming. And like any hobby, once it gets its claws into you, you know, you sort of evolve and whatever like that. And I just really love that freshness of it. And so I just thought, you know, I need the sort of, I'd love to grow, you know, Lord Ken's would love to grow his channel. And I just thought this is a perfect opportunity where I can just have, without the pressure of anything, just play Stadia games once a week, a dedicated slot. It makes sure that I do it. So it disciplines me to do it. I know there's a lot of fresh kind of audience there who may have not come across my stuff. It's the same old people who come across my stuff, and I love them all and stuff, but sort of new people that we've seen, you know, like Stadia Dad and his sort of gang and all that kind of stuff, and Blake Stadia, all those sort of people that sort of you sort of see on the Stadia Bash Community Network now, like it's sort of new to me and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just exciting to see them having the same sort of passion and just wanting to play games on Stadia that I saw in so many people of the original Stadia sort of community people. I mean, original sort of is putting them on a pedestal, but you know what I mean? Like in those sort of early pioneering days, as it were. I'm seeing that, and that sort of gives me my sort of love back for doing that. And it's quite relaxing. There's no pressure to, well, it's still a little bit of pressure, but you know, because I want to put a good show on. But you know, it's just fire up the OBS and I've got all the graphics ready to go. Let's rock and roll, play a game, have a chat, and there's people to chat to. And again, a bit like my old Sea of Thieves mixer days. It's like people who love Sea of Thieves want to watch you play it, want to talk about it, you know, it's that kind of stuff. So I really liked it.
Yeah, I think I thank you so much for saying that, Clive. It means a lot coming from you, especially because you've been there you've been creating content from pretty much the beginning. And you know, it's just a cool thing for me that I don't mind anybody doing whatever. And some people might look at me like, oh, well, you seem like you're hard on people who don't. I say, no, not at all. Do whatever you want. But I'm about intention. So if you say, oh, we're distancing ourselves, we're changing names or whatever, it's about the intentions. Are you really just trying to add new content, or you just feel like, oh, you lost faith in Stadia? And ultimately, you could do whatever you want. But I feel like if we have a dedicated space that if you love Stadia, then there you go. And look, my wife started streaming. My daughter started streaming. It's crazy to watch them streaming. And now last night, I bought my wife Alien Destroy All Humans. And she pulled out her phone and a controller and just sitting in bed playing last night. And I'm like, wow, look at her. She went from I'll stream, you know, and now she's playing the games more than just streaming. So that's what it's about, man. It's about a great tech that Google came out with. And if
people enjoy, that's the thing, is like you can't knock people's enjoyment if it's not harming you. You know what I mean? It like if people enjoy it, let them, you know, let them get on, as long as they're not harming anybody, which they're not. We're not, you know, Stadia's not coming up. You think the way some people react as though Stadia's come into their house, kicked the door down and punched them in the face. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like, chill, baby. Like nobody, you know, why have you just commented on that thing? You see it in Twitter all the time. What effort required you to come up with this sort of anger to say something that wasn't even directed at you about Stadia? You know, like me think the lady to protest too much. Why? What? Just let people enjoy it, you know.
Yeah, that's real. Well, unfortunately, I could talk to you forever.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I'm going to go down in history and say Clive was on a show that I created to support Stadia. It's pretty cool, but we also don't want to steal time, even though there's nobody's coming up next. But either way, the cool thing is we try to do an hour, because once a week we actually look at the numbers, we look at the, you know, views and see how things are going. And you know, Stadia Vets start doing a thing where you give $25 to the person who had the highest streams in a month. And so we're really trying to ramp things up. We're promoting people to, hey, do more shows. Feel comfortable on if you want to talk more and not just play games. If you feel you have more talent, go ahead, you know. And this is cool, man. It's a safe place to enjoy Stadia. But thank you so much for being on, man.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. You know, I'm kind of sorry for ranting so much and talking about Stadia, but you pulled the pin out, you know.
Yes, sir.
I love Stadia. You know, I love playing Stadia, and you know, I think it's great. I do think it's great. And there's yeah, what's not to like about it, you know?
I couldn't tell you what is not to like about it, because it does what it does, right? It's tech.
Exactly.
And that's it. And for me, I don't expect anything more, but as long as they keep the games coming, right now down the road, if maybe down the road, they might say, you know what, we get a bigger player base, they're making more money, they open in more countries, maybe they'll start a new you know, studio, or maybe they'll just pay somebody to make
the market will dictate. Maybe a developer comes to them and says, hey, we've got this great idea that might just work on cloud in a way, you know, can we partner? And that's how it works. All the great exclusives weren't necessarily, you know, by Sony Studios. You know, Rare Works, as was, made some of the best games of the Nintendo 64. They were eventually bought by obviously by Microsoft, and then they got forced to making stupid games for the Microsoft Kinect thing, but then they went on and made Sea of Thieves many years later. So but they, you know, they were the one major independent studio respected by Nintendo enough to allow them to make games specifically for, you know, GoldenEye and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, this idea that, oh, that's it, we'll never see a first party, you know, like an exclusive. It's like, why wouldn't it be better to give money to somebody who knows what they're doing than trying to spend the money on a hope that you could put a team together that might gel together, that might come up creatively with an idea that might be a success, or go to somebody with a proven success and say, we'll pay you to do it.
here, imagine this, Clive. Stadia comes out with, I'm just gonna make up a game, a Clive and Anthony, right? You're like,
so that's a brilliant game.
What is Clive and Anthony? But then if Ubisoft came up with a Stadia, a cloud native game, Clive and Anthony, people would be like, they're real in more.
Yeah. If you had like a major developer going, oh, you know, and such developer is developing an exclusive cloud only experience with Stadia. And it was a big, you know, Naughty Dog. No, Naughty Dog is, you know, PlayStation, but like of that kind of level, people will be going,
right.
Rather than, as you said, you've nailed it. I'm going to say, oh, Stadia Games Entertainment, they can develop their own game, right? What have they done before? It's like Amazon Studios are developing their own game. Oh, great, because I can't wait, because their last one was what? They haven't had one? What? Oh.
Yeah. Well, you see what happened with Crucible.
Yeah, exactly. So you're better off going to, you know, Blizzard or whatever. And Blizzard said, you know, imagine if Blizzard are creating a game, whatever. You'd be going, right. Oh, my God. And
then here's the thing. They will get attention. You got to think so many gamers don't even think twice about Stadia. No. But if they heard Blizzard was making a game, it'd be like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. And then suddenly your money is...
And then they say, when is that game coming to my platform? Oh, it can't be a platform. It's in the cloud. Like, what? I don't get it. What do you mean? Oh, the cloud is mad, is huge, is infinite, so they could do stuff that they can't do in your system. They'd be like, well, how come I don't play Stadia? I don't know. Why don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy in retrospect to see that maybe that's the approach Google should have taken. You know, this they need to buy Sega or whatever. Like, that's not how it works. Like, really, like, I think Xbox are an outlier. Microsoft are an outlier in what they're doing. They are absolutely ballistic. They're going crazy, like not in a good way. Like they are what they're doing, but they're doing it betting on the fact that they built this business over 15 years or whatever it is, right. You know, where in retrospect, I've seen others. So I've been in companies, massive brands who thought, oh, we could do this, we could do that, we could. And then after they had a couple of successes, but then after they realized, wait a minute, we've lost, this is not what we do. Right. We do this thing here and we do it really, really well. What makes us think that we can suddenly diversify into different industry? You know, wouldn't it be better to license that out? And they did, and the risk is less. The chances of success are greater. There's no loss if it all goes Pete-tong because you've licensed it. And then if it is a success, you'll reap the benefits. So low risk, but you know, you may not get the biggest benefits if you risk it all yourself, but you'll still get major benefits with a little risk. And so it would be better for person if they went to and they partnered with a major developer to come up with a, you know, concept. But they're not going to do that until they know they've got the player base that will justify that investment, which, you know, makes sense.
100%. All right, Clive. I don't want Stadia vet, inspector, and Rated Gaming Cyborg to be like, Anthony, what was you doing?
Sorry, guys. My fault.
Guys, get off my back, man. This is me and Clive. This is my dream stream. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, the dream stream. The dream team dream stream.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. Sorry I didn't get through all the comments, but I did pull them up on the screen. And yeah, this was Clive. Make sure you check Lord Kenzo, aka Clive, out every Tuesday. Yes, sir. So my time, it's
1 p.m., isn't it?
Yeah, it's 1 p.m. my time. It is
6 p.m. my time.
Yeah, okay.
UK time. Yeah, British summer time. Straight after rock, basically.
Yeah, it's right after rock. Yeah, so
right after rock.
You know what's funny? What, real quick, I bet some people see Lord Kenzo, and I guarantee some people probably don't know who you are. Some people probably are like, oh, they got this Lord Kenzo guy on Tuesdays, and they're not realizing like, oh, this is like Clive. Clive is you know. And that's
it's fun. It's fun. Yeah. It's fun that I kind of create these two personas, really. It's quite, and I like to keep it up like that. It's fun.
I used to do a thing where my good side was all-purpose champ. In every game, right, it's the all-purpose champ. But my bad side was the ultimate sinister Mr. Nasty.
See? It's good. You can because you can play. You can play the darker side and say things. Yeah. I could say things as Lord Kensal and get away with it slightly on the Stadia Monday Night Chat than Clive can. You know. So
when I first started streaming, right, I love competitive gaming, right. So I would do the thing when I beat people. I'm a cowboy, and then people would be like, "That guy's such a jerk," and I had to start saying, Hey, I'm a wrestling fan. I'm just playing up the bad guy role because I like competitive, but I like the trash talk as well. But it's funny. But yeah, man.
Excellent.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. This has been Clive and Anthony on the Stadia Bash Community Network Spotlight. And next week, as you know, I won't tell who's going to be on there, but you'll see somebody else next week. All right, later. And then now, your mama knows.
Your mama knows.